cause I never seen a Beverly. You call her Heffany, I call her bitch. All of your homies, they call you a snitch. Who are your enemies? Who are your friends? Who are your relatives?
That kind of became a part of me. So I feel like that's what's important about reading and just learning from people who are whatever you're trying to accomplish. Like I've always wanted to be able to speak well, and just for like I watched a lot of interviews, like interviews of artists, like on Breakfast Club and stuff like that. I say when I get on there, I want to be able to give a great interview. I want to give an interview that people walk away with some knowledge, because all my favorite interviews are interviews that I walked away with from with some knowledge, some new knowledge, some new ways of looking at things, some new perspectives.
I'm not gonna lie, all of my favorite all of my favorite interviews aren't even from rappers. Like
that's true too.
of them.
I'm just saying on that type of,
because we're rappers.
Yeah, like I wanna go in there and give, and like even like I don't know if you ever watched Producer Grind.
I don't know.
It's a channel, like they got a channel, and they're based out of Atlanta, but they interview a lot of producers and stuff like that. And it's like one day when I get on there, I want to be able to give a good interview. So up and coming producers, even though I'm an up and coming producer right now, but when I get to that level, like I want to be able to articulate well to them the things that they need to do and know to keep going, because I feel like a lot of this shit is like 90% mental, like just the will to keep going. You're gonna, and then just like a lot of people just don't even know where to start. They don't know where to go next. They don't know what they need to learn. They don't know what they need to do to develop themselves. But that's one thing, like since I was probably young, just like I've always been into like developing myself and getting better. So I'm always gonna figure out the little intricate details that I need to find out to improve myself at whatever I'm doing. Like I understand that it comes down to fundamentals. So I break shit down to the fundamentals, and I'm like, okay, if I want to be a producer, I need to know how to play piano. I need to know how, just little things like that. I need to know how to engineer and mix, and I just need to know how to do all the fundamental things to make my product the best product it can be. And I feel like reading is one of those fundamental things into making yourself into a great product, being able to articulate yourself well, especially if you want to be a artist, and you're damn near an entrepreneur when you're an artist. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to be able to articulate your vision to people. If you're trying to, get investors or anything like that, you need to be able to articulate your vision well. And then you don't always want to have people speaking for you. Like, I don't know. I feel like I just need like at least that much control. I don't just want a bunch of people doing everything for me because I'm too lazy to do something I know I can do myself.
Yeah, especially shit, and if you're good at it, shit, you wouldn't want to pass off the duty to someone who's gonna do it worse than you.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
I think something else is I mean, I don't really know how to deal with it, but the nerves. Some people just get real bad nerves when they talk. You can hear it in their voice. You know what I mean? Like people are getting these real nervous moments. I actually saw a video on YouTube where a motherfucker just went straight up nervous. Motherfucker. Say, God damn, motherfucker, this motherfucker sitting on top of a tractor. Say, hell no,
yeah, bro. I used to kind of do that, like when I would first like if I would like give a presentation at school or something like that, my voice would start off a little trembly until like the nerves kind of wore off, and then I would shake it off and get in my mode. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's one of those things that if when people are talking, if they can find a way to shake the nerves off, it's your speech becomes like more real right there. It becomes like more authentic. You're like more of an authentic speaker if you can talk without the nerves. It's like a ventriloquist who can talk without moving his lips. You know what I mean? It's like the dummy becomes more real. It's kind of like the same. It's the same way, like with your speech. Like if you could be able to talk without the nerves, your speech just has. Man, it's almost like this combination of competence and confidence that your speech gains from that.
Mm-hmm. Just the fluidity of it, just being able to speak fluidly. I understand, as you're gathering your thoughts, I do it a lot, like the saying like, or you know what I'm saying, because sometimes you're just gathering your thoughts as you're speaking. But I've definitely improved a whole lot in my speech and being able to speak well.
Yeah. Something else people do is shit. A lot of times, motherfuckers really they just don't talk enough. It's like shit. If they'll be talking to somebody and shit, like if you have something to say, then shit, like go ahead and say that. It's almost like like there's like this, like a bad social thing where you just end up able to I mean, which makes sense, obviously, which you just end up able to talk to people. You end up a worse speaker because you're worse at holding conversations. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Like a lot of the people who are kind of, I guess you could say, socially awkward, just because they don't really exercise that a lot. They don't speak a lot.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So what they have is someone saying a sentence to them and then them sitting there quiet, and then they don't really learn how to interact with people at all. That's all. At the end of the day, that's all you're really doing. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to interact with these people, with this wide range of people. Like right now, we're sitting on here and we're talking to each other, but we're also hoping that our message can get across to as many smart people as it can and as many dumb people as it can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we're trying to get to everybody in between. Now, there's some super smart people that we ain't gonna be able to break through to, and there's some super dumb people that we ain't gonna be able to break through to. But that right there is what the practice is all about. And you got to think that you can still be able to get those same skills, like these conversational skills, from people, and you don't even have to do a majority of the talking. All you have to do is be able to hold the conversation. Think about what that means.
Right.
It doesn't mean you have to be able to talk a lot.
Yep.
Just all about. Go ahead.
And that's what you just said about reaching, all kinds of people. That's one thing that I do want to do, and that's always my intention, is to be as clear as possible and not use too much colorful language to where they can't understand it. Just keeping it as simple as possible so anybody can understand it. And but it's only for people who need that, though. Like if you're past this, then awesome. You know what I'm saying? Teach me something. But this is for people who need to hear this to get there.
Yeah. Hey, something else that'll help is download the dictionary app. You know what I mean? Jump into that encyclopedia. Always go to the encyclopedia, man. If you want to look up something on fucking Google, then just pull out the fucking encyclopedia and just go straight to it. Like just jump straight to it and just address whatever you're looking up there first.
Right.
But download the dictionary app. You know what I mean? And start picking up these words. You know what I mean? Every day, I got the dictionary app. Every day there's a word of the day. You know what I mean? And as long as you open up the app, you're going to see the word of the day. And even if you don't remember it, you're still going to be able to get that practice in, seeing the word there, reading it, and getting the connotations of what the word means from the definition. So when you hear that word come up, you might not know exactly what it means, but the connotations will pop up. You know what I mean? And it's going to be easier for you to context clue your way to the definition.
Yep. And that's another thing that's important. If you're already reading books and things of that nature, don't skip over. Once you see a word that you don't understand, don't skip over it. Look it up.
Oh yeah,
literally. Look it up.
Like I got a rule. My rule, bro, is every time I read a book, I read two books at the same time. You know what I mean? You know what the other book is. One is whatever hypothetical book I'm fucking reading. The other one's the dictionary.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like there's like there's no way I would have been able to keep up, like just trying to read. I'm talking about like science books, like Hawking and fucking Dennett, Dan Dennett, fucking Sam Harris, fucking Sagan.
Yeah,
You know what I
Carl
mean?
Sagan. I fuck
Like,
with Carl Sagan.
yeah. And there's a lot of them, bro. Like Dawkins, I'm talking about like I think I'm probably like 7 books into Dawkins, bro. Like Sagan, I think I read everything of his except for maybe 2 books. I never read Dragons of Eden, Gardens of Eden, Dragons of Eden.
He wrote.
What it.
Did he write Pale Blue Dot?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and what was it? The Darkness. Damn, what was that one called? Those are the 2 I read. Pale Blue Dot, and what's the other one? A Demon Haunted World.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In the Demon Haunted World, science is a candle in the dark. There it is.
Yeah, but for
But
sure, that's important with
yeah,
the dictionary, just so because you don't want to bullshit your way through a book. You're wasting your time.
yeah. It'd be just like if someone was listening to you talk, you know what I mean? And half the time you talking, they don't know what the fuck you even talking about. Like you'd want them to be like, look, like if you really want to understand what the motherfucker is saying, then shit, you would stop them. Like you would sacrifice continuing the conversation. You know what I mean? That's what you do. You pull the brakes up on the conversation. You say, hold on, what'd you say?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's the same move. It's the same move.
I'm gonna ask if I don't understand something. I'm gonna ask a question. Like that's the only way you can learn. You can't be scared to ask questions. I'm not scared to look stupid at this point. You know what I'm saying? I done enough stupid shit to where that shit don't even matter. Shit, we can take that L.
And nowadays, shit, if you got a fucking cell phone, you don't even need to ask questions.
Nope, you can Google everything.
Literally everything you want to know about that motherfucking book, boy, it's gonna be in there. The good thing about book stuff, some people think that Google is like a substitute for reading books, and it's not, man. A lot of these books are. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things on the internet that are valuable that aren't in books, but it goes the exact same way the other way around. It's just fucking. Like I said, I mean, shit. It's the same way the other way around, man. It's just that shit. I mean, for one, motherfuckers just don't people just don't be buying books like the way they used to.
Yep. Yeah, I buy books if I like really need to buy it, or you can't really, hit the PDF. You can't download the PDF. I'm gonna buy the book, but I like
With the
having
audio books and all this shit though.
I just
like,
I'm not a fan of audiobooks though.
Why not?
Which is weird because I feel like damn near a podcast is like an audiobook in a way. Like if you're learning information from it, but I guess it's just it depends on the voice of the person who's reading it, because sometimes the voice
a lot of people say that.
Yeah. Like sometimes it'll just be too dry, and I like my reading voice. So it's like shit. But some people, they may not be able to read. I've heard people say like they just can't really read like that. So like they like audiobooks. And I guess it's just however you can, take it in and comprehend it. You just gotta go that route the best way.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Like shit, audiobooks, I'm all over the audiobooks. Like all over them shits. Fucking but yeah, shit. Motherfuckers are gonna have to start talking better, man. You gotta be well spoken. That's the whole point of this. You know what I mean? Gotta be well spoken. There's no substitute for it. That's the thing, bro. That's the reason why it's like why being well spoken is such a virtue. Because there's no replacement for it.
Right. And
like what would you give that up for? Like what would you give up? Like the ability to be well spoken. Is that what, $1 million? 2 million? 3 million? it's priceless, bro. It's a virtue. I wouldn't give
Mm-hmm.
my ability up for that. It's just like
You could
martial arts.
you might be able to get
Like,
20 million off of being well spoken, you know. So to give that up,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I feel like a lot of problems would either be solved quicker or wouldn't even become a problem if more people were able to communicate a lot more effectively. And I feel like that's damn
yeah,
near like saying people don't need to do drugs. I feel like that's kind of obvious, but I mean, with that being said, I feel like more people need to put effort into just being, like you say, more well spoken. But when you say that, like, what do you mean? People need to put more effort into being more well spoken, read more, and be a lot more introspective. Meaning, like, dive into yourself. Like, spec
yeah. Like,
spec is to see. Intro, like, you need to see yourself. You need to study yourself and learn. The more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about other people, and the more you learn about other people, the more you learn about yourself. And with that being said, you'll have more patience for people, and I feel like that'll solve a lot of problems. You know, because that I've definitely learned that, like, you're more patient with people just because you're like, okay, you don't look at everything from a selfish point of view. You're like, okay, I remember when I used to be ignorant as hell, so like, let me be a little patient with this
yeah,
person, or I remember when I was like this, or I remember when I was like that. So I feel like that's definitely important.
yeah. And another way is gonna benefit you is because people are gonna like you more. People
Yep.
like well spoken people more. Period.
Hmm.
Like if yeah, I mean, shit, that's pretty much just what it comes down to. Like, they're gonna like you more. Like, here's a situation. Let's say you go to let's say you want to go to a weed dispensary, but your ID is expired. Let's say you know what I mean. It's midnight and it's your birthday, but your shit just expired though. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? The only thing, but the thing is just you and it's a cashier standing there. You know what I mean? So this lady could either let you in if she wants to, or she could tell you, I'm sorry, but I can't let you in because, you know, all that shit. So, motherfucker, the only difference between whether these motherfuckers say yes or whether they say no is whether they like you or not. You know what I mean? So if
Hmm.
you think about just the probabilities of them telling you no, if you were well spoken, you would lessen the probability of them telling you no. You know what I
That's a
mean?
fact. That's
If
a
you
fact.
weren't, and if you weren't well spoken, then you'd up the probability of them telling you no. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's kind of like, if
It's
you
a,
ever,
it's the same thing, but that's saying it the other way though. Just you know what I mean? Because it makes it it's just more full that way. It makes more sense saying the other side of the coin. You know what I mean?
for sure, like, in the work environment, like, when people be like, I can't stand so and so, da da da, but you don't ever have a problem with that person, but it's just that you guys might clash just because I feel like that's a skill too, just learning how to deal with people. I feel like all this shit kind of goes hand in hand, just like learning how to deal with people, learning how to speak to people can make your life a whole lot simpler. Like, once I started, like, learning how to deal with people and talk to people, made my life a lot easier.
Yeah. If you look at, I mean, if you take any person out there and you ask them, you know, would your life be better if you were the most well-spoken person that you could be? So I'm not telling you you got to be the most well-spoken person in the world or more well-spoken than anyone else. You know what I mean? You get to decide that the metric. You know what I mean? As if you could be as well-spoken as you could be. That's the important part of this. You know what I mean? Like, that really is real is the real important part. You know what I mean? It's not really about it trying to be like as well spoken as someone else. But if you could be as well spoken as you could be, then shit. I mean, shit, how much better would you be? You know what I mean? If you'd be any better, then shit. I mean, if you be a little bit better, then shit, chances are you probably already are well spoken and you really don't need to practice anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you
I
could
feel
get
like
a hell of a lot better, then it's well worth the discipline. It's well worth going through it.
I feel like there's always room for improvement. I can be a lot better. I feel like I can be a lot better.
What do you think? What's one of your main problems?
I need to tone down the, you know what I'm saying. I need to tone down the, you know what I'm saying. And I don't like saying like.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I just feel like when I get myself going, I'm pretty fluid, but I gotta cut down on that. I'd rather pause and collect my thoughts than say like, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like it just,
You know, I think one of the reasons why people talk like that, you know, these small little filler words, you know what I mean? One of the reasons people talk like that is because people have such a short attention span. Like people are really bad listeners. Like they
right, and you want to keep their attention because they might
trying
jump.
to keep
Yeah.
Yep. You're trying to keep their attention, you know what I mean, before they cut you off. So
Right.
while you're trying to gather your thoughts, you know what I mean, but you got to stall their attention.
You're letting them
So,
know that you're not done. You're just trying to get your thoughts out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I guess.
Shit. I think one of mine is sometimes when I try to come up with like if I try to come up with a metaphor or just some a comparison of some sort, I keep on going with it and I forget that I was actually referring to something that I said first. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'll be thinking of like I'll be thinking of some shit and then I'll just run with it and I'll just keep going this linear way, forgetting that I need to make a fucking U-turn like to address why I brought the shit up in the first place. A lot of times I just catch myself just sitting up talking randomly because I be forgetting like why I brought this shit up.
Yeah, and pretty much like the whole scope of like this conversation is the fact that I want everybody to know I used to be a dumbass and I'm still a dumbass, but I'm better. You know what I'm saying? Like there I just did it again, yeah. But yeah, you can always improve. You can always gain more knowledge. And you got to put that out there because there's a lot of people who they may need to hear this through me. They may not accept this through anybody else but me or you. So I feel like if you have this in your head, it needs to be said because there's somebody who can only speak there's people out there who can only speak understand your language. So you need to say it. You might need to be the one to say it. So I feel like everybody that has some knowledge to give or some insights to give needs to say it. Just because there's people that you can reach that no one else can reach. I feel like that's super important.